and welcome back to day 4 of the Stashbuster week for September. And I'm making 3 different embellishments using scraps today. The first one is ArtyMaze inspired, and I will have her video in the description below so you can check out her scrappy little embellishments. She calls them mini clusters, and I love this idea that she uses Scotch tape, and then the Scotch tape is easy to then add to your journal. And the other thing I love is that she's putting it on parchment paper. I found that my Scotch tape didn't really stick too well to the parchment paper, but it's a really great way so that you don't lose all your mini embellishments to kind of keep track of them. And then the other thing I did is added some double-sided tape, and then I build the embellishment on top. I think if I were to do these mini ones again, I might not rip the Scotch tape in half, and I would have a bigger piece of double-sided tape. As you'll see here, as soon as I put down a piece of scrapbook paper, now I need to use glue. But if I had a wider space, I could build up and still use the double-sided sticky tape. But they still turned out really fun, and they're easy and quick to put together and a great way to use up your scraps. So you'll see on the left I have bits and pieces of paper, book pages, scrapbook paper, and then I also have my box of odds and ends from the ArtyMaze and Tracy Fox different kits that I've cut out a whole bunch of their little bits and bobs, and I'm using those to make my little mini clusters. And this is all going to go into my September Stashbuster journal, which I will be embellishing pretty soon, either tomorrow or the next day, with the Stashbuster challenge week. And having them all cut out and in different tins, the tin right there, that's where I store my really small embellishments, and then I have that other box of odds and ends that I've cut out from their kits and I've just stuck in there. And then I have my flower punch, and I'm going to layer up a couple flowers to give it a little dimension and give it a couple layers. And then I have this really small, these half or flat back pearls. They're so tiny. My fingers were struggling, but I have a bazillion of them in a little bag. And they were the perfect colors to kind of go with what I was making. And so I'm going to use those why do I keep calling them half? But the flat back pearls for the rest of the embellishments. I'm only going to do 3, and then the rest of them I'm going to do off camera. And then at the end I'll show you a picture of all of them when they were completed. And the nice thing also about this way of doing the embellishments, you can do horizontal or vertical, and you could do longer or smaller, so this one's a bit smaller than the one above it. So it's just a fun way, and it kind of just gives you not really a canvas, but a place to say, okay, this is how big I want to make it, and just build from there. So in this one, I'm using a piece of scrap fabric, and then going back to my little bucket of cut aparts to see what else I want to use. So if you haven't, you still have time if you want to go join up with the DearJulieJulie September Stashbuster 2020 challenge. I will also link her video below, and there's a Facebook group with all of these different mini challenges. That's where I got this idea, because it was for a mini challenge within the big challenge, and it's a lot of fun to see what other people are creating with their stash for the month of September. It's been really fun. And then at some point, Julie usually will do like a watch party, and you can watch the flip throughs of all the people who participated, their journals. It's really fun. All right, so for the last one of these little tiny mini embellishment clusters, I used a piece of pattern, like sewing pattern, and then a couple more of the cut aparts. And then it's more of my punched flowers. It makes it easy when you just kind of have an assembly line of the different bits and pieces that you want to add to your mini cluster. And those little pearl things are really tiny. All right, on to the second embellishment. So for this one, I'm using some scraps from the Tim Holtz paper pad and some scraps from a file folder, some scrap lace, and scrapbook pages. And I've already punched out the tags, and I've selected my little embellishments that look like stamps, and I'm going to use my hole punch and then put in eyelets for both the tag and then also the words. And now the words came from a Tim Holtz tiny word pack, and it's the occasions one. So they say things like, oh, I have them right here. The words say the colors of autumn, give thanks, and nature's wonder. So I thought those would be perfect to add to the stash journal. So then I'm just going to punch another hole and then add another eyelet, and then I'm going to attach those onto one of those safety pins along with a piece of lace. I love how these look. I think these are on my top 10 favorite junk journal embellishments. I just love the style and the look and the layers and how they dangle. I just think it's really, really cute. And they're so easy and fun and quick to put together. And so you can make a bunch of these and then have them in your stash ready to go. Now, you wouldn't necessarily have to back it on something like a file folder. I just did because I wanted to have enough stability when I did the hole punch that I didn't cut through the paper. And then I have some wooden buttons, and so I'm finding one of the smallest wooden buttons, and I'm going to add that to the bottom. And then do the same thing. I'm going to hole punch and put an eyelet, and then hole punch the tag and put an eyelet, and then just put them together. I think they're just so cute. And I think for this one, I decided I need a little bit bigger piece of lace because I want it to dangle down below the tag. And then I just put them together. So cute. And there we go, there's that one. All right, and for my third embellishment using scraps, I am taking these tickets and I'm going to use them as a belly band in my journal. So they were 3 tickets stuck together like that, and I just fussy cut them out of the page. And I'm showing you how I'm going to use it in the journal. So then when I decorate it, I'm going to stick it in, and then it will be a belly band. And so for these, I have more of that pattern paper, more of the lace, and more of the little cut aparts. So I'm just using up all the little bits that I spent time fussy cutting and using them up on the different embellishments. I'm going to add some book page. Now for these, I could have inked the bottom layer or added gesso. There's all sorts of different things I could have done. I just kept it simple, and I just glued on the different bits and bobs. I love the layering of the different textures. So the pattern paper and the lace and the cut aparts. I think it just adds fun texture and great dimension. I'm also going to add a wooden button to this one as well. And then for this one, I'm going to add some scrap fabric. And I want to leave the little stringy parts, again, for more dimension. And then some lace. And then add a couple of different images. And then I will just be able to glue the top and the bottom and add it to a journal. I do thank you guys so much for watching and participating in my week-long Stashbuster challenge week of video a day. It's been really fun. Here I'm putting a brad, and then I'm going to put some washi tape on the back so that it doesn't snag whatever I decide to use in the journal for the pocket. And stay tuned, we have a few more days of Stashbuster week. And one of these days we're going to be decorating the journal that's coming up. And if you haven't, I would love for you to subscribe and put the notification bell so you are aware when I post another video. And thanks again so much for watching, and I hope you have a wonderfully crafty day. Bye-bye!